Congratulations, first grade. We made it all the way to chapter 19, the very last chapter of first grade Math in Focus. This chapter is about money. Money is very important because it helps you buy things. And in this chapter, you will learn 4 different lessons. The first lesson we'll do today is about the penny, nickel, and the dime. The next lesson tomorrow we'll go over the quarter. And then we'll learn about lesson 3, counting money. And then the last lesson we get to do is adding and subtracting money. Before we start lesson 1, let's go back into our memory banks and try to remember a few things about money. Now, you might already know this, but it's really good to review it anyway. So let's go over the different types of coins we have, starting with the penny. This is the penny, and in the front side, we have the President Abraham Lincoln, our 16th president. And on the back side, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial. And I'm actually holding a penny right now. And my penny looks a little different on the back side, but it's the same penny that says 1 cent. And it is only 1 cent. So with these pennies, you can buy things that are more than 1 cent. If the marble is 5 cents, you can use 5 1-cent pennies to buy that. If you want to buy a heart sticker that is 7 cents, you will need 7 of these pennies. And if you want a toy car that is 6 cents, you can buy that with 6 pennies. Next, we have the nickel, and I'm holding one right now. On the nickel, you'll see President Thomas Jefferson. And on the back side, you'll see his house that he built called Monticello. And this coin is 5 cents. So that means 5 pennies would be the same amount as 1 of these nickels. So I guess if you had a nickel and you wanted this marble that is 5 cents, you wouldn't need to give 5 of these. You would only need to give 1 nickel to buy the marble. Next, we have the dime, and I'm holding one right here. We have Franklin D. Roosevelt on one side of the dime, and on the other side, you'll see a torch, an olive branch. This coin is 10 cents. It's much smaller than the other coins, but it costs 10 cents, equal to 10 pennies, equal to 2 nickels. And finally, we are going to study the quarter, the biggest coin. I am holding one here, and in the front of it is our very first president, George Washington. And on the back side, you might see different state pictures of different states, or the one I have in my hand has a picture of the presidential coat of arms, which is an eagle with outstretched wings. And this coin here is 25 cents. Yes, if you are imagining 25 pennies, that's how much a quarter costs. Now let's begin lesson 1. Penny, nickel, and dime. So quarter, we're not going to need you for today. So I'm going to set the quarter aside, and we're going to gather our penny, nickel, and dime. Here are the words that you will need to know and use for this lesson. Cents, nickel, value, how much money they are worth, that's value, how much they are worth, penny, dime, and exchange. Exchanging would be to trade one coin for a set of coins that equal the same amount. Okay, so if I give you 5 pennies, you can exchange that for a 5 cents because they are the same. Even though I have more pennies than you and you only have 1 nickel, you can still exchange that and it's still worth the same value. Now, the most important part of this lesson is remembering the value of each of these 3 coins. You have to remember that a penny is equal to 1 cent. You also have to remember that the value of the nickel is 5 cents and the value of the dime is 10 cents. Once you know the value of these coins by themselves, you're going to need to know how to skip count to find the value of more than 1 coin. So here you have more than 1 penny. You have 4 of them, and you would count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here you have 5 cents, 5-cent nickels, and in order to count 3 of them, you're going to need to skip count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. So the value of these nickels is 15 cents. Then if you have a group of dimes, each one being 10 cents, you're going to need to skip count by 10s. 10, 20, 30. So in this chapter, skip counting is very important. Sometimes you get a group of coins that are not all the same. You see, these are all the same, so you can skip count easy. 5, 10, 15, 20. But in this case, you can't just skip count all of these by tens. So what you do is you need to group the coins, the same coins together, sort them, and make sure that you group all the same coins first. And then you start with the coin that has the greatest value. So we've got 2 10-cent coins, and we have 5 1-cent coins. So instead of mixing them up, you kind of want to put them in groups of the same coins. And then you start with the biggest value and skip count, 10, 20. Then starting from the number 20, you want to add on ones. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Let's try this group. We've got a bunch of nickels and we have some pennies. So the first thing you want to do is sort of group them so that the nickels are all together and the pennies are all together. The nickels have a greater value. They cost more. They have 5 cents. And so you want to start with the nickels and then count on the 1 cents. 5, 10, 15, one more, 16, one more, 17. We also talked about learning the word exchange. Exchange. If you have 1 nickel, you could trade that or exchange the nickel for 5 pennies because this 5 cent can buy something that's 5 cents and these 5 pennies can also buy the exact same thing for 5 cents. You could also exchange a dime for 2 nickels because both of these wallets have 10 cents. This one has a dime that is 10 cents and this one has 2 nickels that are also worth 10 cents together. You can also show the same amount of money using different groups of coins. Take a look here. These kids want to buy this 14-cent ball. And it looks like the boy will pay with 14 pennies. That works. The girl here said she'll pay with 2 nickels and 4 pennies. And then the boy over here says, I'll pay with 1 dime and 4 pennies. They all look different, but let's see if they can exchange the groups of coins they have with the ball. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You can exchange the ball and the coins for 14 cents. Yep, that works. And then over here, we have 5, 10, and then add on one more, 11, 12, 13, 14. She also has 14 cents, so she can also purchase a ball. And then let's see, over here we have 10 cents. And then we have to add on 4 ones, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this kid can also purchase a 14-cent ball. So before you go work in your workbooks, just remember that putting a bunch of coins in order from greatest to least will be the best way to count them. Counting them from least to greatest would be very difficult. If you started with ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then had to add on 5, you might have a harder time to do that. So you always want to start with the greatest value. 10 cents is the greatest value. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 45, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, like that. So go starting from the greatest value is easier. And another thing I want to warn you first graders is sometimes we mistake the dime and the nickel. So make sure you know whether it's a dime, the smaller one, which is 10 cents, or if it's the nickel, which is actually bigger in size, but it's worth the value is less than the nickel. So don't confuse these two because they are the same color. And we are not working with quarters today, okay? All right, good luck in your workbooks.